Do people still read books? Question mark. What's up and welcome to the Fervent 4. Did you know that only 4% of businesses ever cross the annual $1 million revenue mark? Hello, I'm Zack Miller, author of Anomaly. With me today, I have my co-host, Tim Ryan. I don't know why I'm yelling his name, but I just did. Tim Ryan, lead man at StartWheel.org. Thank you so much for joining us. The Fervent 4 is a weekly show each and every Thursday at 11 a.m. dedicated to sharing insights into growing a world-class business, no matter the climate. You know, I yell, I whisper. We might as well do it all.
What's up, guys?
Hello.
What's up, Ethan?
Hey, how we doing?
How we doing? Keep it moving. Reading. So what was the last physical book that you read?
Me?
Yeah, either of you.
I think Systems Engineering. This is a really good book. As an owner-operator, I have to be
Systems
good at that.
Thinking. And
this will be the next one. The Dip by Seth Godin.
The Dip. Okay, so two-time guest of the show, Chef Chris Hill, loves The Dip. It's like our listen on the Audible, but I'm not using a credit.
I know,
a 1 hour book.
I will look at that. What is your threshold, Zach, in terms of how many hours does it need to be before you'd be willing to burn a credit?
Probably 5. But before I even do that, I'm going to go to my, I don't know if you know this, Ethan, but our local library system, Overdrive and Hoopla, you can get a ton of audiobooks for free. So I just finished a book this morning. I listened, didn't read it. Wim Hof, The Iceman.
Breathing techniques, right?
Yeah, breathing techniques. Basically, it's breathing and get into freezing cold water and your life will be changed. Well, no, of course, I'll be freezing. So I have like I get really cold, like just in general. And so there's this thought that if you put yourself in the cold, it will actually make you less cold. I don't know. Okay, so this came up because your lady friend, Ethan, said that the book by Matthew McConaughey, Green Lights, was less than par. Have you read it?
I haven't. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so it's not like one of those it's not like, what did you like it, Tim?
I did. I thought it was great.
To me, it's not one of those books that I'm like, I'm going to tell you about, but I think the stories in it are pretty damn funny. I thought it's the first half, maybe first 2/3 are like really good, and then it's like they rushed the ending. And I was like, It's like because I think he wrote it in like 21 days or something. He like went on a sabbatical, like right when COVID started. He like locked himself in a room, and I feel like the first like 20 days he got in those first 2/3 of the parts, and then he's like, oh, I gotta finish this book and like finish that last one. I don't know. That's my theory, but really interesting. A lot more entrepreneurial than people think. Documents the heck out of everything, and incredible stories. And did you know he was going bald?
Going bald?
Yeah.
No.
He
Didn't
fixed
know that. How'd he fix it? Same way Elon Musk did? Hair transplant?
Jeff Bezos as well, I guess.
Yeah. Oh.
No,
Tim, what's the last book you
read?
read?
Jeff Bezos just went bald. Last book I read, I just finished. I just finished Michael Dell's book.
Michael Dell?
Yeah, Play Nice But Win.
You physically read it?
I like the
listen to it.
Yeah.
Last book though is Venture Deals.
Brad
Physical book. Yeah.
Interesting. I'm currently reading a Running World book. I think it's called like How to Make Yourself Poop and 999 Other Things Runners Should Know.
I just downloaded Dave.
I knew you were a runner.
Yeah. The only way you can listen to a ton of audiobooks is that. What was that, Tim?
I just downloaded Dave Grohl's book, so I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, Dave Grohl's book looks good. There's a new wrestling book by John Moxley that looks good, and then there's Will Smith's book. That's probably the next book that I'll actually get on Audible. That looks really interesting. He did a YouTube premiere of his show. Like I think it's just called Will or Will I Am or something like that. Interesting. All right, Ethan. So we just met. I know literally nothing about you. Give me your elevator pitch.
Well, now I know you're a runner as well. I did a triathlon
Big
a while
runner.
back, and I remember reading a lot of books about long distance, the impact of long distance running
Triathlon, is
and
that what you
swimming.
said?
Yeah.
Well, no, that's all I want to talk
running,
about.
all that.
Oh, geez, this is going great.
Are you a triathlete? I figured you were.
Allegedly.
A little bit. I just get the vibes. When you meet with the triathlete, it's like an unspoken bond where we're like that crazy high energy person in every room.
It's like CrossFit. It's like a cult. Like How do you do CrossFit without saying you're in CrossFit?
Yeah, shark bait, hoo-ha-ha. He's one of us. Who knows? My elevator pitch. I'm the founder of CustomerDiscovery.co. We help startups reach product market fit faster and more affordably. We do that through two primary services. One, recruiting early tech adopters for customer discovery interviews. Two, we're launching a product market fit engine to automate a dynamic product market fit score, which you can use to validate or disprove your product.
I mean, that's a big problem. I mean, in terms of validation is tough. So to me, I mean, at least on paper, that sounds like it's a really good, it's a solid business idea, because you have early tech adopters that are always looking for the next new thing to use, and then you have a ton of startups that they've got to validate what they have going on. How long ago did you form Customer Discovery?
That's exactly right. So I incorporated the business in September as market of 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, of 2020. Back when I had no idea what I was doing. I was new to the tech industry and everything, figuring things out. Brought on a team of interns from November to January. We all worked to design and develop the site, which launched in roughly May. We were profitable before we launched because we were in Y Combinator Startup School. Our first customers were from Y Combinator Startup School. One was a Stanford MBA, which he received credit from his MBA course for customer discovery. Steve Blank, thank you so much, because he teaches at Stanford, so I'm sure that's why they give them the credit. And he needed to reach podcast hosts, and that's how we listed our critical assumptions to see if we should pursue building this marketplace. And one of the critical assumptions were that early tech adopters, if they are validated early tech adopters, they shouldn't ask for money. And that's one of the biggest differences between us and user interviews and user testing and user analytics. They have to compensate the people to speak to you for primarily research needs. Ours, product incentives. Are you going to give these people free access to your site? Are you giving them, what is the value you're providing them? It has to be a product incentive. And that's how we know someone is an early tech adopter, actually interested in what you're building. That's the purest form of validation.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's so many buzzwords in everything that we've said in the last 14 seconds. So I have an idea, just generally, I'm not going to pitch a business idea here, but I have an idea, right? I have a business. I want to get it off the ground. A lot of people actually, I think, don't understand what customer discovery is, or talking to people and things like that. I still think that's very much a techie thing. I still think it's a thing that not a lot of people really grasp. They think that, I want to start this business.
So build it and they will come is not a thing.
It is. It is from a great movie called Field of Dreams with Kevin Costner, who I think also is in this new hit TV show. I'm on episode 2 of that.
Season 1.
Season 1, yeah. Well, real slow, real gliding.
Easing into it.
You are not an early adopter then of Yellowstone. You are not.
I thought it was like a Western TV show, and I'm like, I'm not into this stuff.
It is, yeah.
Maybe it is a Western TV show with a new spin. But anyway, okay. So I have an idea. I want. I think it's going to make billions of dollars. Yada yada yada. And my customer is everyone, right? And I think that in some cases, maybe your customer could be everyone, but what you're trying to find is that there's something specific about someone that is that's unique that you can play off of. Mm-hmm. How do you sell to someone that, hey, your baby's great, it's pretty, it could be something, but you got to figure out who that early stage champion is? Because to me, those early adopters, those early stage champions, if you can't win them, your business is gone, right? So you're looking at a bell curve, you're looking at quadrant 1. That's all we're looking for right now, because if you can't get those people on board, it's over. Just general thoughts on that.
Yeah, the first 10% of the market. And that's kind of how we break down the composition of our marketplace, right? First, I believe it's 3.5% are innovators, people who want to go out and build things. And sometimes there's overlap between that and early tech adopters, because a lot of early tech adopters are innovators just in between building different products, right? So within that, you have different verticals like health tech, fintech, legal tech. There's a lot of different techs you can break it down with, like trauma tech and is a subset of health tech. And we're starting to find ways that we can find people within this vertical, but further filter them and screen them before the handoff to the founder based on their interests, demographics, and psychographic data.
You touched on one thing before we went live. We were just chit-chatting. And yeah, and you mentioned one thing that I thought was super interesting. You said, that your website is terrible.
Awful.
And there's, and
not GeoCities bad.
But Reid Hoffman, the founder of LinkedIn, said that if you're not embarrassed by, your first release, then you waited too long. So
good point.
What went through your head when it came time to launch your website? Were you just like, we just got to get out there and get feedback? What's the story behind that?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, we also spoke about the fact that I wanted to create a startup playground. So everything I do is through the lens of lean product playbook, lean startup, lean customer discovery, lean B2B, lean marketplace, lean everything. Mm-hmm. So I'd be remiss to think that, perfect is the enemy of good. Let's be real. So I wanted to get out to market. I realized that the only way we'd get feedback in terms of validating our feature set, our user flow, our dashboard, everything, no matter how bad it was, as long as people could see it, they could get feedback and say, this is something we will pay for, just fix your site first. Or you didn't really hit the mark, because of course you test things with a prototype like Figma, our designs and whatnot, and they all loved it then. And they loved it when we were live. They just wanted to fix it. We got to 159 users with a site made pretty much entirely by interns at colleges and out of boot camps. So I would actually, as bad as it is, I would say it's a success. We made revenue. We validated the need. Now it's time to raise money and launch 2.0. Now we're getting traction from corporate innovation labs, which have a lot of buying power. They're startups within a business. So they have the pain points, they have the purchasing power, and they have the need for product market fit.
Why do you think that though, right? So like, why not just stick with it from a lean perspective? What makes you think that the website isn't good enough that you can just continue off of it, right? And before we get into that, because you said like 17 things. I'm like, Jesus. Lean, for people that are listening that don't know, is like basically doing the least amount of things possible to get it so that people will use it, right? Most people overproduce, over-featureify their business, overbuy everything, overcomplicate everything, instead of just doing something in the most simplest of way. Also, from my statement from before, that being said, people that are looking for customer discovery probably are Q1 on the bell curve anyway, because you don't have to convince those people in Q2, 3, 4 that this is what they need, because they're looking for people to do that. So I've blown my mind twice. Okay, so your site, why not keep it the way that it is? Why not keep it lean? What makes you think that you need to enhance it to get to that next level?
Broken UX flows. While we did accomplish the goal of
validated broken UX, so UX is user experience.
User flows, meaning the happy path, right? Happy path is something every website has. For StreamYard, is the fact that we can log in, verify that my mic and my headphones work. I can go into the green room, and then we can go live, and it'll go to whatever platforms you guys chose. That's the happy path. And then after we can close it, it'll be stored. Now, imagine if you log into StreamYard, there was no green room. We just went straight live and it didn't go to any platforms. That's kind of like a broken user flow that's relevant to what we have, because we do have on-site video interview software through Twilio, and that exists. Can you get there? It's really difficult to get there, right? Because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's a huge issue when our AI predictive validation model is fueled by data. If we can't collect that data, there is no predictive validation engine.
How did you, did you have a follow-up to that, Zach?
No.
I was just curious, what did you do to get, you said you had over 150 customers. What did you do to users?
Not customers.
What did
There's
you do
a difference
to get,
there? User is someone who doesn't pay, a customer is someone who does?
Yep.
Got it.
How did you find those first 150 users?
Well, I did customer discovery with over 100 people myself before I validated the need for a customer discovery marketplace. So we had a good waiting list. We had, I think, over around 200 people on our wait list because it was just a marketing site for a while. And we were hosted on alpha.customerdiscovery.co. Customerdiscovery.co was just a place you sign up for a wait list. And then I said, every good business is built on 1 to 2 foundational growth channels. You see it with Dropbox, you see it with Airbnb, you see it with all these different businesses. Early on, they find one growth channel, they go all in: PayPal, pay to win, Dropbox, referral marketing strategy, Airbnb.
So a growth channel is like Dropbox saying, "Hey, we'll give you extra credits or extra stores." But got it.
100, yeah. And Sean Ellis was really a key there. If I had that book somewhere, Sean Ellis,
the growth hacker dude.
I also want to talk about that with Sean Ellis, if we could touch on that a little bit later, about the product market fit survey, which he coined. But nonetheless, I ran ads on Instagram. I ran ads on Twitter. I create a ton of content. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you see I do these startup success stories that are starting to get cumulative more views. But Twitter ads got us 1 to 3 new users per day. And it's so crazy because all I did was do retargeting campaigns from followers that follow Y Combinator, Techstars, Saba Kareem, who's a legend at Techstars. You're the best, Saba. Thank you so much.
Because they saw it enough because it was retargeted, and then they weren't right.
Well, it's just people who had affinity to early tech, and then they signed up 1 to 3 a day on a budget of $12 a day. We can scale to 1,000 users by the end of over 1,000 users with a budget of $12 a day.
One thing that I've noticed about this area, the Hampton Roads area, the 757, whatever we want to call it, is how few people in this area are on Twitter. And it was, and so many people want to try to raise money. And it's like there's just a huge investor community on Twitter. That's where all the tech people are. And yet, here there's very, very few people that are on Twitter. And I do most of my interacting with folks and learning on Twitter. My PSA to people in the Hampton Roads area is get on Twitter and and start discovering people. No pun intended.
Volunteering is tribute.
Scout's honor.
Are you stuck at your home office, socially distanced coffee shop, or your fancy all bricked out corner office, wondering why no one can see your business and sales are all over the place? Sounds like you need a pro. That's why I developed the Anomaly Academy. Insert clever copy here. Oh, I guess I was supposed to put something else there. Oops. You can grab access to the Anomaly Academy now at zackmillersays.com/Anomaly Academy.